Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today I'm going on episode 7 of the NFL 100 team series. So, like I said, this is going to be a 10 video series where I go through each set of 10 players from number 100 to the best player in the NFL. We're starting to get into some of the better players, and some of the harder players to pick where they should go. So once you get to the top 40, it's really hard to decide, like, if you have a couple players, it's hard to decide which one should go where, because it just gets so close, and all the players are so good, so it's just really tough to pick. I'm sorry that this video came out late, and it's been a few days since I've made one. It's the usual spiel, I just have not had as much time, but I am going to try and get as much content as I can to you guys as possible. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First on this week's list is David Bakhtiari, or Bakhtiari. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but he's been on the Green Bay Packers his entire career, and he's had a fantastic career so far. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, a 2-time All-Pro, 3-time NFL 100 team selection, number 91, number 43, and number 62 in 2020. He's been the top of his position for the past 5 seasons, and he's likely going to continue to dominate the Lions. David Bakhtiari has been a force to be reckoned with on the Packers' offensive line. He's been one of the main reasons why the Packers are able to protect Aaron Rodgers so well, and he's a great team leader. I think he's going to continue to do well in the future. And I think that number 39 is a very solid spot for him. At 38, we have Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White is a cornerback for the Buffalo Bills. This season, he had 3 interceptions, 11 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 1.5 sacks, 57 total tackles, and 2 tackles for a loss. He also had 20 postseason tackles. So he had 57 regular season, and then he had 20 in his 2 postseason games. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, and he made the NFL 100 list last year at number 47. This year, I have jumped him up a little bit to number 38. I think that he has he hasn't necessarily improved drastically, but he had a phenomenal season this year. And a lot of other cornerbacks had good years, but they weren't as good as Tre'Davious White. I think he's my 3rd corner on this list in total. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro selection, and he was, as I said, he was number 47 last year. Sorry, I already said that. One of the best corners in the NFL. He has never allowed a season over a passer rating of 80. I think this year was around 70. If you look at the stats, and he's just overall a great corner. And he's going to continue to be one of the best corners in the league. At number 37, we have Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan had 3 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 7.5 sacks, 51 tackles, and 11 tackles for a loss. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro, and a 5-time NFL 100 team selection, including number 23 in 2020. He's one of the best consistent defensive ends in the NFL year in and year out for the Saints, and I dropped him down just a little bit because he did take a step back from last year. His stats took a slight step back. He didn't get the All-Pro selection last year, but he also didn't get it this year, and so because he took that slight step back, I dropped him down about 14 spots. 23 is a hard spot to not only get to but stay at, and so I think that Cam Jordan definitely deserves to be top 50. And I think he deserves to be top 40 as well. Mckenzie Fitzpatrick, number 36. He was number 35 in 2020, so he is down 1 spot, but generally about the same. There's actually quite a few people on this list that were in the 30s last year, and they're still in the 30s this year. So Mckenzie Fitzpatrick, he had 4 picks, 1 touchdown, 11 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. There's also fumble recovery, 79 tackles, and 1 tackle for a loss. Mckenzie Fitzpatrick is a safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 2-time All-Pro in his 3 seasons. He didn't get any accolades his first year, but Second and third year, he got Pro Bowl and All-Pro selections. He was number 35 in 2020, and he's been very strong since his first season in the NFL. And his stats this past year looked fairly similar to last year. I think he stayed about the same at his level of play. So I think that going from 35 to 36 is pretty solid for him for the 2021 season. At number 32, we have Aaron Jones, a running back from the Packers of the Cheese City in Wisconsin. This season he had 201 carries for over 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 47 catches for 355 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he had 1,400 total yards and 11 total touchdowns, which is an impressive season. I think he also missed a game. He had 20 carries, 126 yards, and a touchdown in the playoffs, averaging 6.3 yards per carry in the playoffs, and about 63 yards a game. He's a one-time Pro Bowler, and he's an NFL 100 team selection at number 33 for the 2020 season. He's a star receiving back. He's one of the best receiving running backs in the NFL, and he's probably going to continue to have this type of production. Aaron Jones is a phenomenal player. His stats took a slight step back from last year, I think, or maybe they're very, very comparable to last year. I'm not exactly sure what the comparison was, but his stats were comparable from last year to this year. So his spot stayed about the same, and there are other running backs that improved. So it'll be interesting. I hope that you guys are interested to see where the other running backs ended up, including Christian McCaffrey, who will be on this list. At number 34, we have DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner is a defensive end from the Indianapolis Colts. He's one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion. He had 3 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 9.5 sacks, 58 total tackles, and 10 tackles for a loss. He's a one-time Pro Bowler and a one-time NFL All-Pro. And this year he was number 54 on the NFL 100 list. He made the Pro Bowl this year, but this actually wasn't one of his peak years for his stats. He's had better seasons, and he hasn't gotten the accolades for it. Very similar to Levante David, except I think that DeForest Buckner is going to get more. DeForest Buckner hasn't been playing as long as Levante David, and he's going to have more time to get recognition. So DeForest Buckner, he's one of those players who never has gotten what he deserves. I think that he will coming up, but it's just too bad, and I really wanted to give him a good spot on this list. Not only because he deserves it, but also because he hasn't gotten in other places where he's deserved it too. So I think 34 is a fantastic spot for an amazing defensive end such as himself. And at number 33, we have Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones is a defensive end / linebacker. He usually plays linebacker, but he's played defensive end some seasons for the Arizona Cardinals. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time All-Pro. He also hasn't gotten as many accolades as he deserves. He has 97 career sacks in 121 total games, and he's a 4-time NFL 100 team selection, including number 15 in 2020. He missed most of 2020 due to injury, so I wasn't going to use his stats at all from this past year to determine where he should be. But he was number 15 last year. I wasn't going to put him back at 15. He's a phenomenal player, but he hasn't had last year's stats every single year. Last year he had 8 forced fumbles and 15 sacks. So I wasn't going to put him at last year's spot, but I definitely wanted to keep him very high. A lot of the players that missed last year, what I did was I wanted to keep them high enough where I'm giving them the trust that they deserve, that they're going to continue to play at this level. But I'm not going to put them high enough where it takes away from players who had phenomenal seasons who deserve to be in the top 30. So that's why Chandler Jones is at number 33. At number 32, we have Nick Chubb. I think that Nick Chubb deserves to be a little higher than this. I think a lot of people will think that as well, but I just can't put him too much higher. He only played 12 games this season, and there are a lot of running backs who have had phenomenal years. So Nick Chubb is at 32. He played 12 games. He had 190 carries for 1,067 yards and 12 touchdowns. He was number 4 for yards per carry. He was number 7 for yards. He was number 3 for yards per game, and number 9 for total touchdowns. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler and a 2020 NFL 100 team selection at number 36. I have bumped him up a little bit from last year just because his stats have improved, like stats per game have improved. He had a phenomenal year for yards per attempt. I think he had a 5.6. And I think that Nick Chubb's just going to get better. I think next year, with a full season, we'll really see what he can do with a full year. And if he continues to dominate, then he will be put in the top 30. He's a superstar running back, and he'll hopefully have a full season next year. He had a full season last year, but this year looked like it was going to be his year by how last year went, how this year was looking to go. So I really hope he has a full season next year to prove what he's all about. At number 31, we have Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time NFL 100 team selection at number 81, 13, and 5. And he missed most of 2020 due to injury. But he was the league leader in receptions in 2018 and 2019. And you can't put him back at number 5 because he still missed an entire season. And there's still an entire group of elite wide receivers. He had 2 fantastic seasons in a row. But 2 fantastic seasons doesn't always mean that you're the best player in the league. I still think that Michael Thomas is a phenomenal wide receiver. But there are still some wide receivers ahead of him on this list that I think deserve to be in the top 30 more than he does. Just because, not only because I don't necessarily think that Michael Thomas is the best wide receiver in the league, but also because he missed the season. He missed the season. So if this is to see who the best players were for this year going into next year, then yeah, he deserves a spot on it, but he doesn't deserve a number 5 spot. So I think that number 31 is a great spot for him, similar to Chandler Jones, where it's high enough where it gives him respect, but it's not high enough where it takes away from the players who had phenomenal years. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and smash subscribe if you are new to the channel. I try to post at least 3 videos a week. Some weeks, such as this one, it gets a little tough, but I do my best, and I can't wait for the NFL season to start back up again. So thank you guys all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you all in the next one. Peace out.